All right, sure. So I'm gonna talk real quick to introduce to our friends, and then you can hand over. Okay.
OK，
All right，大家好，好久不见。今天我们迎来的一位嘉宾呢，是我之前的一位非常非常好的朋友，叫Julian Calle。So 我们以前在一个公司工作过的一段时间，然后 Julian 呢是一个非常非常资深的，以前在电影行业混迹非常非常久的一位大佬。然后今天非常荣幸能够邀请到 Julian 来我们的创意齿轮 CGD 的直播间做客。Hello Julian，how are you？
Hey, all good, man. How are you, Leo?
Yeah,
Good
I'm
to see
doing.
you.
Yeah, nice to meet you. Since like last time we talked online for only work, right? So right now,
Yeah.
family on the career side.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's really honor to have you here. So do you want to quick introduce like where you're from actually?
I'm from Colombia. I'm from
Colombia.
Colombia, yes, but I arrived to Canada 7 years ago
Wow.
to Vancouver. Yeah.
How do you like Canadian life?
I love it. I love it, and especially the life in Vancouver is.
Okay.
I love the city for two really big reasons. First one is the quality of life, and the environment is super peaceful. I love it for help me a lot for create, because
Okay.
I can live completely in peace. I can manage my time. And the other side is here you can find a lot companies, basically in Canada now is the focus on the industry.
Mm-hmm.
In Vancouver, we had a lot film studios, BFX studios, and video games studios.
Oh,
And
okay.
it's easier to get different jobs, or move if you want between the companies, to get more experiences. It's easier if you are good and you have a really good portfolio. It's really
Right.
easier.
Right. Yeah, as I heard in the BC Vancouver, so they got cause they have the same time zone with Hollywood, so the most of
Hmm.
FX studios gonna be there to spot in the US side.
Yeah, yeah. Here, basically, I started in Imagen when I arrived to Canada. Is because I received an invitation from them,
Mm-hmm.
and it was amazing. I worked with them 3 years, and here is DNEC, Method, Island, NPC Close,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, DD Digital Domain is here too.
Mm-hmm.
Electronic Arts in video games,
Mm-hmm.
and Relic Sega. It's crazy. It's really good because you live basically you share the city with amazing other artists. You have 1,000 other artists here,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really good. The community, really huge.
Yeah, I just enlarge your screen. Check your little toys on the back, right?
Yeah, yeah. I love it. I started my collection is when I started to work in films.
Mm-hmm.
Um, in each film I work at, basically I go to buy a new toy.
Okay.
I put here. I'm a big fan of this one. Basically, when I was kid, I loved it in Star Wars. Basically, it was the for Star Wars. I am graphic designer or concept artist, basically, because
Right.
I love that, And I love the Marvel movies, because I worked in three projects for Marvel,
Wow.
but in differently than that, I love the comics and I love Iron Man. It's one of my favorite superheroes. It's Batman and Iron Man. This is my top superheroes
So
on the
your
list.
this is your heroes.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. But I love the design, basically of all these pieces, how to work, how to connect.
Right.
And I love now how we need to think in this, give the sense to the mechanical elements we're going to make for the films.
Yep.
I love to do that. So this is the reason for my collection day by day is huge and huge and huge.
Wow.
And
I'm
I
getting
love the small GI Joes.
that is a classic one.
Yeah, this is a classic one, the 1993.
Oh, okay.
Is yes.
So yeah, so it's really you know what, I'm getting jealous of that. So yeah, so for yeah, let's jump back to your station. So
Okay.
yeah, maybe you can go through from there, tell a little bit about your project, cause I never work in the film industry. since then, getting the CG. So I just like during gaming. So I'm really curious about like how film concept art, like spotting the VFX as you do the post production side. So can you introduce about that?
Yeah, it's different and depend of the stage of the production,
Mm-hmm.
because I have the opportunity to work in the both industries,
Mm-hmm.
but I have the opportunity to work at in different stage of the production films.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'll be working in the inception. Basically, it's really similar to the video game inception. The thumbnails, sketches, explorations, made a really huge research, and start to make different vision, different notion for the concept. But in BFX, we had other part. It's middle of the production because basically, war one concept artist and BFX industry in one company, it just try to resolve a little problems day by day.
Oh,
How,
okay.
for example, to the matte painting, how to look one background,
Mm-hmm.
previous to make the matte painting. So you try to do it the most faster as if it's possible. I think it is the big really difference in the time. For example, in games, you have, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 days, maybe for made one concept, depend of the production or
Yeah.
depend of the company.
Usually
And
bi-weekly.
BFX, yeah, in BFX is completely different. Basically, 2 or 3 or 4 concepts per day. Super fast, super faster.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
and something that I really like in the BFX industry is your portfolio. They increase a lot really faster. Because
Yeah.
when I be working in BFX industry, I be working in, I don't know, the maximum it was 7 films at the same time.
So
So
how
this,
do you like say 2, 3 concept in a day? So basically in a week you got like at least like 10 concept piece ready to ship.
it's different. Sometimes just the concept is, for example, I don't know, resolve a little background super faster just in
Okay.
brushes, in the strokes, huge
Right.
strokes. You know, Sometimes you need more time because they need to see exactly how to look the final shot
Right.
and
Right. Right.
help to the CGI artists or the compositing artists, depend of the area. But something really good in there. It's a really good experience. If you had one chance one day,
Mm-hmm.
try to do it because you're going to work at the same time, for example, with the 3D artists
Mm-hmm.
to help to resolve problems in there. Or you're going to work with the environment artists, with map painting artists, or you're going to work with the effects artists, or CG, or
Right.
lighting, At the same time, you're working with a lot people, in different areas.
Right.
And in my experience, I was really close to the BFX supervisor. Basically, I worked side by side with the BFX supervisor of the film,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really cool. Sometimes it's really technical too. In video games, you had more freedom to play with the strokes. It's more artistic. In films, you need to be really precisely with the light and texturing and color. You
Oh,
know?
okay. Right.
Yeah, all the time you need to think basically in technical situations
Mm-hmm.
because you receive, for example, the EX arts
Mm-hmm.
in 32 bits, and you need to basically use the similar techniques to the matte painting to
Mm-hmm.
make the concept.
Mm-hmm.
This is the reason for when you check my art station, my portfolio
Mm-hmm.
is super realistic. All the pieces is because basically I use the matte painting techniques all the time.
Right. So yeah, as you mentioned, like they are really picky on the color, that
Hmm.
kind of thing. Like the one last stage, you put your concept on the screen, right? So I think
Yeah.
that it's the similar step. Like when I work in the game industry, like before they ship the game, so the level artist is gonna grab stuff like use your concept art as a references, right? So they build up the 3D in engine, and
Yeah.
but sometimes like their first eye, like their first produce in the engine, the shot is kind of like somehow different from your initial ideas on concept art. So they usually like say, okay, so here's some I built up in the engine. So how do you like, right? The art director get in and then, oh, we're gonna change the lighting somewhere down here. I'm gonna take, a really quick like paint over like what you did, right? So on the last step to fix the on the right color correction stuff before they ship the game.
Yeah, yeah. Basically, in game, I think you can handle that in VFX from the beginning. You need to think and manage the color,
Oh,
and
okay.
thinking all the time in color space, in how to go to look, because we check each piece and and sometimes in Shotgun or another software to check exactly how's it going to process, and the color that need to be exactly precisely to the final shot, you know.
Oh, okay.
Is
You're gonna
so
be.
this is the reason for, yeah, is really technical. And sometimes I use it nuke when I worked for BFX, just for I made the concept, realistic concept, and put a nuke, and I check the color corrections. I really close to the final shot. It's necessary to do that.
Yeah, so I guess why it's a reason why the filmic concept art looks like a very realistic to the final shot, right? So cause you guys do very crazy color correction and that kind of lighting change stuff. So yeah, that is really amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and this is the reason now I try to introduce more myself in Unreal 5, because the lighting in Unreal 5 is super realistic. It's insane, you know.
Right.
So I I'm really friendly with the new tools. I try to explore all the tools if that possible,
Yeah.
because the most important is the final shot. You know how to go to look,
Right.
and my in my case is because my heroes, or my main inspiration, it was Dylan Cole or Dussault, a couple matte painters,
Yeah, that is a
you know.
master.
Yeah, that's crazy, because and special Dylan Cole for me is awesome. It's one of my favorites. It's in front of my tops. It's because at the same time he think in the design, in the composition of the scene, but at the same time he's focused a lot in the lighting and texture and how to look super realistic,
Right, right, right.
and this is is different at four, when you need to focus in all the production at the same time, how to go to look, the composition, the camera, the lighting, and the design of the elements. For example, one building or one proof, one spaceship, I don't know.
Yeah.
I love that. He is awesome.
Yeah, you let me know, like, say how the film concept art have to be like a fully skilled on different perspective to finish one piece, right?
Yeah. For example, it's really important when I focus a lot on the environment, and BFX it's really important before to start to make one concept. My really huge advice is told with the matte painting supervisor
Oh, okay.
first. For yeah, because in my I had a couple not bad experience. It was a little troubled when I started to work, and send to the client a different notion for the environment. And the moment when the matte painting artists they try to apply in Maya or in 3D environment for put the camera
Right,
don't match the perspective of the horizon line don't match, and
right.
we start with one problem. So I love to first told with the BF to the matte painting supervisor. Okay, how is the best way to resolve? I don't know, any environment, what camera are we going to use, or maybe we're going to start to make one layout, we're going to make one blocking, put the camera, check if the blocking is working. We can move to the make the concept. It's really important, and especially for the time, because all the time in BFX industry is super rush, faster, 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 faster. You need to reduce the problems, you
Right.
know. Yeah.
Can you refer to your portfolio so we can go through from there? Maybe you can telling us some interesting stories, like so for each piece from scratch
Oh,
or.
yeah, of course. But I need to see you. You can see my camera, my screen,
Um,
or
Accidentally it turns black right now.
oh, uh, is weird. Okay, it's good.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
cool. So, yeah, in my Mars station, I had more personal pieces because for NDAs, I had a lot in my private portfolio obviously it's impossible to share and put in public. I had a lot. I need to wait in for a couple more years. So the VFX industry is really difficult, to receive the permissions to share your work.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, exactly. For example, this is the reason for I try to produce a lot of art for my site,
Right.
So I'm going to start to talk first in my personal work, and we can move to the commissions or the public work. So I love this piece. I love the huge environments, I love that. And all the time when I work and I try to make one environment, I try to create one hero building. In this case, is one hero mountain. One element more important than other ones. And try to think a lot in the shape, in this case of the mountains. I try to put in the memory of the people one basic element, really difficult to forget.
Oh, okay.
Basically, yeah, I think in that because long time ago, I watched one interview for one singer. One singer is Noel Gallagher. He was the lead of the Oasis, and he says something about the art. He tried to make songs that the people can remember all the time. It's the same with the Beatles. I try to do the same with my art. I try to make image that the people can remember easier. For that, I think a lot in the shapes and the composition. It's easier to remember this image.
Yeah, this one recall me. I think it's Eaton Zana's, or do you remember they have the Hawk Head Mountain, right, in the game? So yeah, that is really memorable for me.
Yeah, exactly. I try to do that, memorably image from, and so for example, here this one is the same. It's easier to see. It's simple, but the same is complex to do it. But it's a simple image, And the story for this one, it was really I went at one forest here in Vancouver, and I found this element. This element is not a huge mountain. It was the roof of the tree. It was really small. I took my camera and take the picture, and just I started to think of that. In the moment when I saw that piece of the tree and middle of the forest, in middle of my mind, just I think, okay, maybe the people can live there, So I try to use my imagination all the time when I walk in the middle of the forest or middle of the city, So I love the epic things too, This is the reason for I put the little characters just for play with the proportions, the scale. Without the character of the birds here, it's impossible to feel exactly how big or huge is this element.
Right.
So it's really important for me. I did this concept for Love, Death Plus Robot season 2. Here it was completely different. The treatment, it was has a matte painter basically. It's a concept that you can see. I pulled the grain of the film. I tried to play with the saturated colors similar to the final shot, and play with them lot layers. And a big fan to see really clear the silhouettes of the elements, because for me it's in the moment when you can see really the deep and the distance between the elements,
Right.
So
the distance.
I try to be really accurate with that, and on all my concepts. And for example, here it's a really
Wow, this one is tasty.
contrast. Yeah, the contrast is really cool, and I love when we can see the really clear silhouettes, The silhouette for me is really important.
It's a giant skeleton something, so people underneath to rebuild stuff on the little.
Yeah, they live there.
Oh.
Yeah, they cover to the sun here, and in that environment. Oh, look at this one. It was really I love the color. When I saw the episode, I love because I can see exactly my color palette and this environment.
Right, right,
When just I break, it's really cold. Just I break with a warm line exactly of the sun,
right, right.
but it's just enough because it's just a little piece of the warm because in the screenplay, remember it was this 5:30 a.m. or 6 a.m. Really early in the morning when the sunlight is really cold.
Yeah.
It's a little warm, and try to get that.
It feels like the people, in the darkness, they see a tiny hope coming soon. That kind of feeling, right? It's no, yeah.
Exactly. This piece, I love this piece because I remember the day when I did this piece. It was one Sunday because my wife, she asked me, "Hey, Julian, you try to do something and explain me your work because, she feel curious about that." And I did this piece and tried to explain her, okay, how I did it, that one. So you can see here.
You do a demo to your wife.
Yeah, it was a master class for my wife.
Wow, wow, that is
Yeah,
yeah, very
but
jealous.
it was. I'm going to do it here something. I'm going to share my Photoshop. 1 second, just I need to change here to switch. Let me know when you can see my Photoshop.
Yeah, I can see.
Oh, now it's fine?
Perfect. Yeah.
Okay, great. So, for example, with this piece, I can explain subtly part of how to make one composition, from my side. And the first all the time, I think, is the proportion and scale. This is the reason for I try to put, in this case, one character.
Right.
Without this character, we lose basically a lot in this image. We lose the feel of the scale. We can do it here really quick and check, and yeah, look at this. We feel a lot. We're going to lose a lot about that. So here,
this is
I try to
importance.
make,
This
it's really important.
Importance to put a character in. Cause I saw so many beginners like they say, "Oh, geez, you got a character in your concept that looks vivid live, right?" If there's no any life in here, just like environments, pure environments, that feels like geez, this is like a very production. Once you throw something in, so it feels like they like it a lot.
I think one of the reasons is because I love my favorite artist. It was Van Gogh, Vincent Van Gogh.
Oh.
For me, is the most top and high-end artist in the history of the humans. And all the impressionists, they try to put a characters, people in their paintings, and just it was put live. But in my case, I try to put characters for help me to the distance, to the scale, to the proportion with the elements.
Right. Right.
This is the reason for I put this element here. And the other is all the time I try to connect with roads, because what is basically the goal here is this part. When you analyze here, it's really clear the focal point. So all this river or lake, help me to go there, So it's the same with the lines here, with the duplicated, these elements here, they go there, or here and here and here and here and here go there too,
Okay.
All the mountains on the shape go to there too, So, and the other side is the color, because you can see is basically all this area is really warm, but the red is really cold.
Right.
It's blue and green, and just break with the orange, And it's the same. For example, I use it a lot, this one, all the time. The color wheel, I prefer to have keep here practical, and start to check all the time the combination with the color. And the red that I explained that day to my wife, it was, you can see here different layers, the foreground really clear, really hard silhouette. We're going to have other space here but we start with the temple or the shores or whatever, the castle here, but we're going to see a really good, you know, deep here, you know. Yeah, it's pretty clear.
I really like one really big thing in your all of image, like you really play the subtlety of the space of the layers. So you push the scene further and further, right? So you get the audience like to feel like the depths. It's not like you draw only, you know, the square down here. It's like 5 kilometers away, something like this.
Yeah, it's exactly with this piece, you know. And this piece I did it like 6 months ago, something like that. It was okay. I'm going to try to make one concept, but really, really hard. I going to at that moment I thought I going to really focus in the blending the image, you know, and try to get something really realistic. And it was crazy because here I have a lot layers, you know, but I tried to connect everything really well.
Right.
But you can see here the same, you know, the road, but you can see subtly go to their place, you know. This is the focal point. This concept without element, they don't have sense. This element for me is the most important. It's really in the back. It's really sometimes hard to see it, but if you maybe if we remove this element, you're going to lose a lot on this piece. Look at this. Yeah, this basically.
Yeah, I got what you mean. It's like something it's not really detailed, but it's, you know, just like put back on the background, just see a little bit of the silhouette, and it feels like
and especially because the position of the character, like, she looks there.
Yeah, like facing that
you
way.
Know? And all the crows go there. So if you eliminate, if you remove this element, we're going to lose a lot here in this image, and the color. And I try to think all the time in the balance of the image. You know, doesn't matter one position I'm going to put here, if they have a really good balance. You know,
right.
And yes, this is really important. Try to all the time to thinking how balanced do you have. Here is really clear. Right. Your work is fine. Your work is work.
So you wanna make sure that like each image you don't like, you know, put all the stuff on the left or right to lose the balance, right? So you try to make it a little bit more I say average. It's not like average, but you can tell something on the left means something on the right. Like say you can go from the left to right, right? So that kind of, and using some the Vera pass. Like
all the time below. In meantime that I draw and I made the concept, all the time I turn on I flip the image all the time.
Okay.
Just for try to never lose the balance of the image, you know. Maybe when you flip your image and you feel something like this, you have one problem. It's okay, one of the elements don't work in that position. Okay. And I'm a big fan to flip it the image all the time, you know. It's the same here. In this case is more basically it's more video game concept, you know. This is more cinematographic concept. You can see there. And what I told about that, you understand because you have more experience than me in video games, is we can see here one environment, one plays with different elements, and you know, it's possible to build this and explore that, you know. But I love the style to one pixel brush, and in this moment I try to do it pieces like them, because I love how they make. It's a beautiful concept, beautiful color, and they had a really cool places for exploration. So we can wall in middle of these, we can hide in here, you know. I try to think in that. And this element here is, you know, really, really important, and it's basically hidden, you know. It's the one character and horse ride between them, you know. Here, for example, this is a work in progress. My technique is really, really simple. Basically, I did one basic layout in 3D. Okay. In this case, I use Optane render for make the render here.
Right.
really a basic render, and just focus more the composition. I did one sketch in paper, really quick,
Mm-hmm.
and in that moment I took the decision in where place I going to put the light.
Mm-hmm.
So from the beginning, just I think and okay, I wanna to see high contrast
Mm-hmm.
between the elements. So this is the reason for the sound is here. Sometimes I use a Blender, or sometimes I use it Unreal, but with the problem with Unreal is I don't have a really clear ID like this, and this ID material is so important.
Oh,
You know,
in Unreal, they can generate the ID path as well.
yeah, yeah, and Octane render is super easier to use it. You
Oh,
know,
you mean Octane?
so
Okay.
in Octane render is easier. So I made the composition there. I play with the camera. I get the ID pass here, and that's it. Just start to play with the photo bashing and brushes for create. This is really early process, and this moment just I try to establish in the final blocking
Mm-hmm.
and put more depth. I focus here a lot in the deep. You know, this is the reason for I tried now to play with more the silhouettes and the distance use it basically are really soft. Oh,
I wonder, can you show us a really quick technique, like say you mentioned for the map painting? So can you drag, say you find a tree online and then you can demo us really quick, like how to, mix the tree into the piece?
okay. Yeah, sure. Um, for example, here, in this case, I tried to get all these rocks, you
Okay,
know.
okay.
So I'm going to take this part here.
Yeah, I think
Ju-
I think for photo bash, like every people say, oh, okay, I can use photo bash, but the hard thing is like how can I, mash different elements from different photos into one image, but looks like they are unified together.
Yeah, we had a lot ways to do it. One
Okay.
really basic is use the match color.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
when basically you go to choose, in this case is P data is the name, the PSD,
Mm-hmm.
and this layer I need to make more close to the I don't know probably this layer. I don't know. It's because I can see here. Okay, the
Layer
eight,
8.
eight, or maybe if it doesn't work, this is one way to do it.
Right?
But I prefer in this case first is try to get a really basic perspective because I wanted to cover this part of the ship with these rocks.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'm going to use the warp is and just I wanted to move to the position that I want. And I love these rocks here, this a little part here. And yeah, okay. Now yeah, it's a subtle that I want. This
Mm-hmm.
curve here.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to use the gradient. The first I prefer to put the element and just create a basic mask,
Oh,
you
okay.
know?
Okay.
And with this mask, I'm going to start to paint over on the mask.
So you drop in one, like say one image first, and then you try match color, say if that works, so bang to go, right? So if not,
Yeah,
so you use a mask layer and
yeah,
to mix
all the
it.
time. Yeah, I try to use the max layer because I can edit anytime.
Right, right, right.
And this is the reason. So I start with this and check exactly what happened here. And okay, look at this. Start to look much better and natural the position of the element,
Mm-hmm.
and just for start to match the color. In this case, is the saturation for this piece,
Mm-hmm.
and we had a really high contrast here. Look at this. Okay, it's more close.
Oh, you don't change, the color stuff on the layer himself. You create another.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's matte painting technique. You need to control your image.
Uh-huh.
If you need to edit or do something, is when my time worked in the VFX industry, I tried to send to the matte painters my PSD, and they use it as a base for example, for the matte painting.
Oh, okay.
So I prefer to send everything the more open possible,
Okay.
and procedural possible if you can do it. And it's hard because at the final you're going to have a lot layers, and sometimes it's really hard to manage. So I prefer to do it one when I finish basically the first parts of the composition.
Right.
I basically create one JPEG and start to work in other file, just over the JPEG. But all the time, I'm going to save this concept, this PSD with all the layers. And believe me, the matte painters, they're going to love it. They're going to say thank you for that. And because I try to work it, and you can see here, is look at the dimensions. It's 7K here in this case.
Oh, okay.
It's huge, and they got sometimes they can use the element from there, from here, and it really helps for them, So I try to do that, and that's it. I start to to polish more and more and more. And in this case, like this, I can see a little green on my work. Yes, and the levels, and so I need to put here one black or white just for check. I prefer to check the levels in black or white, not with color, and you know that.
Right.
Because
the values.
The values is easier to check like this. No, in color it's impossible to see that. When I have this one more closer, I'm back to my mask. Just took my brush and start to polish here a little bit. Is basically my process to make that photo batch. Really simple.
Wow, yeah, this I think it's really good tips. Like say you separate all the adjustment layers, and yeah, I know that is sort of really benefit the artist, like say to change feedbacks especially, right? So maybe your art director say, oh, this is like too bright, so you can darken down. So you don't want to touch the original layer, so you have so many adjustment on top. So it's very easy to.
Yeah, I try to do all the time that, and especially because when my first, well, okay, when I lived in Colombia, and one day I won one scholarship to one BFX company, one BFX academy, and I went to study compositing. And so in compositing, the software is Nuke,
Yeah.
And Nuke is a procedural software. So I love that. When you had more procedural concepts, is better for me. I had a lot control with the image. And the final, obviously, I flip everything, merge everything, and just I start to play with the color corrections or a little paint overs, but the base is really cool. And here the same, the composition is really clear, something that I want to do. At this moment, just I think in this moment of the blocking. Just pull the elements. That's it. I don't think in nothing more. And the next step, basically, I have already on my mind is I wanted to cross this, put one light here, really warm, and the red is going to be really cold. This is the reason for you can see here I had ready the reflection over the water, and all this area is really warm. It's the only part where we're going to see a really warm color. The red's going to be really saturated and really cold. And I love that. I love this really high contrast because you push more the composition, the focal point, just not with the elements around the image, You can see here how this fluid to the center. Obviously here, this element go there, this element go there. Even the rocks help me to go to here. But if you can push more with the color, it's better,
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, yeah, that is glad to know. Like say all the elements you put in the image, you drop in here just like to help for increasing, the focal point pops up a little bit more. and with the color on the top. So it's definitely in the final image. It's the values, composition, the color, everything together to help out the focal point only, right? So everything, the focal point, gonna
Yeah,
be.
and something. My background is graphic designer, so
Oh,
I,
wow.
I believe completely in each element you're going to put in your concept.
Mm-hmm.
They need to meet something, It's not like, for example, okay, I'm going to put one mountain here. I don't know, for example, here, just because it looks cool. No, I try to think all the time, what is the reason for I going to put this tree?
Right,
Or
right.
why I going to put this tree? Why this shape of this palm? What is the reason?
Yeah,
All the
yeah,
time I try to think in that.
yeah,
What it
yeah,
is? It help to the storytelling, and help to do it your work as a designer. You know,
yeah.
I try to take really distant to the accidents. I love the happy accidents, but
Mm-hmm.
I try to control my work, because I'm really clear. I am not one artist. I am one designer.
Right,
You
right,
know,
right, right.
and I love the concept art, because in concept art I found everything. I love the photos. I can use the photos. I love the videos. We work in for films. I love the video games. We can make concept for video games. I love to drawing in concept. You can do that. I can play with the that mean each image in design is that. For me the concept art, he had everything above the design. And
Right.
for me, the design is a huge umbrella that cover everything: the animation, the 3D modeling, the film, the photos, the video games, everything.
Right.
For me, the final just that everything's mean is design.
Mm-hmm.
This is the most important.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that one is, for most producers, especially for gaming and film, so they better know what they want, right? So that is important thing. Sometimes they don't really know, oh, what I gotta put. So I like concept artists to explore. So as I know, like lots of cases like this, like they don't know what they want, and they want us to, make the decision, but we are not that call. We are not the caller, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and for me, it's highlights when, obviously sometimes, I don't like the projects when you can just to focus on the production, and do it fat, and understand how to work the industry. I love the projects when we have time for analyze, to make a really good research,
Right.
try to, if it's possible, break the rules,
Right.
try to do something really different and crazy. Then it's for example, in video games, we never gonna forget Mario Bros, because Mario, they broke the rules.
Mm-hmm.
And this is really really awesome, and we never gonna forget.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the kind of project that I really love. Try to put something new in the mind of the people, in the imaginary of the people.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's good to know.
Yeah, yeah. Even I have here, for example, all the time I had books. This is a really beautiful book. Is I get in New York a couple months ago. It's Van Gogh and the artist he loved. And
Okay.
it's incredible, because it's not only to see the art of Van Gogh, it's to see what kind of art he loved. You know?
Oh, you're trying to find his inspiration, right, to create his
Yeah,
imaginary image.
and it's crazy, because this was the inspiration, and this is the painting from Van Gogh. You know?
Okay.
And you can see how they change the different techniques,
Right, right.
how he basically analyzed the artist to other bigger artists, how he, you know, take that inspiration and convert in his art. I
Right.
love that book, and I love Van Gogh, because it's incredible when you have the opportunity to see one painting from Van Gogh in front.
Uh-huh.
You feel basically in 3D. It's crazy, because he played with the strokes. For example, they move to one side and change to other side
Mm-hmm.
and change to other side again. At the final, you feel that a painting is movement, is intense.
Right, right.
It's crazy. My other favorite artist is Diego Velázquez, one Spanish painter. it was awesome. The quality of the level, it was insane. Super realistic. It's incredible. It looked like a one photo. 300 years ago. Is awesome. Bad Van Gogh a lot, because for me the first concept artist in the history was Van Gogh.
Oh,
You can
really?
see, yeah.
Okay.
You analyze one painting of Van Gogh, is basically is the concept of one image. He go to draw one night, just he basically reduce the details at one simple level when everybody can understand, okay, this is cloud, this is moon, this is one mountain. At the same time, it's beautiful, but it's simple. But it's super complicated to do that at the same time. It's the abstraction of the shapes. Van Gogh played with the shapes, the basic shapes, we play with the colors, and put a lot of energy in that paintings. It's one concept artist, man. Yeah.
Can you go search for the Spanish artist you just mentioned? I didn't recall his name.
Diego Velázquez.
Can you show us his some master paintings?
Okay, I'm going to open here in Google. I'm going to Diego.
Yeah, sometimes I really curious like how the old classic masters, so when they live in nowadays, right? So how can they produce concept art for game and a film?
Is okay. Can you see my screen now?
Yeah.
My Google screen?
Yep.
Yeah, this is Diego Velázquez, a Spanish painter.
Oh.
And De Meninas. Yeah, look at it's incredible. It was insane, And he was him. Look at this. He basically painted the mirror, It's crazy, but his level, it was amazing. The other, it was Caravaggio. I loved Caravaggio too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
he's big.
Yeah, Caravaggio is big, but Van Gogh for me is the top, But all the time, previous that I make one work, one concept, my first inspiration is not digital artists. All the time, I back to the old master painters.
Oh.
Because they focus a lot, basically all the rules, when we need to understand, you found in these classic painters. Look at this, the deep. Look at here. The composition, the focal point, super clear. You can see how the light, basically, how illuminated this character, because it's the focal point, and he had a really clear silhouette in contrast between the rocks.
Yeah.
Everything is there. So I prefer to back to these old master paintings to get the inspiration. Because, yeah, sorry.
I'm gonna ask you one question. So, do you think the painting overall from old to now, it's improving, or it's just decreasing the ceiling?
Well, again, sorry.
The painting. Like say you always learn from the masters. Do you think the painting history is like a moving forward?
No, it's different visions, man. It's impossible to say. For example, in one of my classes, I asked to my students, who was much better painter, Diego Velázquez or Picasso? It's impossible to say something. No, they both were awesome, and that in his time, in that moment, because for me the new classic painters basically is us, is the concept artists.
It's you.
It's you, man. It's all these guys around the world that at this moment make art.
Yeah.
It's just the art representing that moment is one social moment in one society.
Right.
If we back to the Renaissance, the Renacimiento, 400 years ago, basically one guy with a lot of money, one mecenas, paid to a really good painter for one
commission,
one master painter. Yeah, for one commission. That's it. It's the same today. We receive commission from, I don't know, from too many companies for make projects. It's the same, So, and we had time sometimes to do it with own art, and we are in our free time.
Yeah.
It's the same situation. And they use an oil over canvas, and this moment we use a digital Photoshop, but it's the same. It's the most important is what you try to say with your art. And I think, I believe in this moment I try to get my own voice,
Right.
and put my voice for the eternity. I think this is the most important goal for one artist. I dream when in 300 years in the future, one person try to make one research about my work to get inspiration. It will be great, that will be great.
Yeah,
because
that will be
today, yeah, you can imagine that. This is the goal for us,
Right.
This is the reason for we took the decision to make art or to study design, to do something really different. In my case, I came from Colombia. In Colombia, they had really different situation to Europe or North America. I don't know how to work in China or in Asia, but in Colombia, when you study graphic design or art, it's just for passion. It's really hard to get one job,
Really?
Yes, we don't have industry, It's one personal story. When I start to study the graphic design, my mom started to cry. Yes, believe me, start to cry.
Yeah, that's surprise.
Yeah, now she feel a lot proud, She really feel proud about my career, but at that moment she feel a lot scared.
Yeah.
Because okay, what are you going to do for live? You need all the profession. It's going to be hard, and I understand her because when I took the decision, it was 20 years ago, to say, okay, I wanted to be artist in no production, no industry, nothing. And just, it was looking like impossible to go, to arrive here and work in that industry. It's awesome. Today it's more common for the new younger people. It's more easier, but in my times it was impossible. Imagine, basically, it's no internet in in my times in my city in Colombia. Really hard to get, and no get the video tutorials or materials or books.
Yeah,
it was crazy, So this is the reason for my career was focused in the art history or traditional style, the oil or drawing in paper over canvas or something like that. It was completely different today. Today is awesome. You want to learn 3D? Just go to YouTube. You're gonna find 1,000 videos. You need, it's impossible to. You need two lives to try to get all that information.
Yeah, like people getting lazier, much lazier like than when I just like, yeah, as you remember, like no internet in Colombia. Yeah, that sounds a little crazy for me. But yeah, so when I remember I started CG, like there's no art station yet. There's one the most the biggest CG art station called CG Society, CG Hub.
CG Hub.
Yeah, CG Hub.
I remember CG Hub. Yeah.
But it's just like a 1-day crash. So I see, geez, like I feel like our industry, like, geez, I got in the wrong industry. Like, why the biggest website crashed down? And then 1 or 2 years, and then we got an art station. So it's getting better and better. And yeah, at the first, like my very very initial. What's your initial? I'm not pretty sure. What's your initial? The energy. Like, say, I want to do painting. I want to do digital painting instead of be a fine artist.
No, it was in 2012 when in meantime I've been working as a professor in one university in Colombia, the graphic designer professor.
Oh, you teach?
Yeah,
nice.
For 7 years in one university.
Wow.
So the more focus in graphic design,
Right.
brand, websites, and this kind of stuff. And with a couple of friends and my wife, in that moment, we took and create one educational video game. We wanted to do that, and we started to do it. And one day, I found one word in internet. It was concept art. And whoa, what is that? And I put, I start to make the research concept art, and then found Feng Shui.
Oh, Feng Shui design, eh?
Yeah, Feng Shui, and
Right.
I saw his videos, and he blew my mind. What? It's incredible. This guy is awesome. How he can draw in and paint over the photos, and he took the photos and made the photo badge. It was awesome. I never saw something like that before.
Yeah.
In that moment, I say to myself, I wanted to do this. This is for me. This is something that I want. This is the reason for I studied design. I found it's perfect because I had a lot of freedom. I can draw and I can do it everything. I start to make more research, and then found one friend from Colombia, and this moment is my friend. Is Eduardo Peña. He is a supervisor art director in Island in Singapore.
Oh.
And I saw his work, and oh my God, he's from Colombia. He did it. How he did it? And I start to make the research, and I start to connect the points day by day, day by day, day by day. Okay. And in one moment, I start to do my first concept drawings. And night by night, for myself, just for myself.
Can you find your very, very early paintings or drawing something to show your, the dark history?
Yeah, let me 1 second. I go to. I think, it was, a lot of problems in that moment, and I need to try to find in one of my old drives. But it was a really slow process from the beginning, because I did everything for myself, just try to analyze the really short videos in YouTube, it was with the time. One day I did one concept and looked similar one concept, a professional concept, it's step by step, is in this moment, just I try to learn. It's impossible to learn everything. I feel all the time as a really junior guy.
Yeah.
And I prefer to feel that, and especially because someday I hope to be a really good in this. So probably I'm going to spend the rest of my life to try to do it.
You already?
Yes.
I think you already made it. Yeah, from
No.
graphic designer from Colombia, no internet, and dropped into the industry in Canada, Vancouver, did so many famous film. So yeah, I think you did it really well.
Nah, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. The only that I know is I love this one.
Yeah.
I love this, man.
Passion.
I love this. Yeah, passion. I love this with all my heart.
Right.
I can do it all my day, each by day of my life, 24/7. And this is the reason for I try to find projects or jobs that I'm going to feel really, really happy because I love this, and I own everything to the concept, Thanks to the concept, I moved to Canada. I had the opportunity to work at amazing companies, I worked for Tencent, for Nitis, for Electronic Arts, for Image Engine, for Sega, for Disney, for Marvel, for Paramount Pictures. It's crazy.
Jeez.
It's insane when I check my LinkedIn, and oh my God, there's too many experience there, and the experience of life, and I love that, and I own everything to the design and the concept. It's incredible. It changed my life. All my life surround, it's surround to the concept. Because I go to the gym just because I spend too much time sit here working, and I need to try to be healthy.
Yeah.
This is the only reason for I go to the gym, is because it's part to my concept art work. You know, it's crazy.
You want to walk longer, so you have to, work out for more, right? To get a better health.
Exactly. Is
Okay.
my diet that I basically my lunch, everything is I need to be really healthy because I spend too much time to my work, and I need to feel fine to make my work. It's crazy. Everything is around. And my wife, she had amazing passion with me, because I spent too much time here study or try to do work or extra work. And she understands, she helped me, and she did everything for me, because when I moved to Mexico to study in my scholarship, it was for her. She took my concept work and sent to Mexico to that academy. She not said nothing. She make it completely in secret.
Wow.
Just one day, I received one call in middle class in the university, and one guy said me, "Hey, congratulations! You won the scholarship. You can go to Mexico to study BFX." And I hung off the call. Boom. Okay, it's a fraud. It's something like that. And they call again. Hey, no. You are Julian Calle? Yes, it's me. Yeah, you won the scholarship. Blah 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 blah. And I went to a partner, and Sandra, she said me, "Hey, Julian, I send you work. Go to Mexico. Go, try to study BFX. You can do it, and try to find your dreams,
Wow.
Try to do it." It was crazy. And when I moved to Mexico, she said me, "Go to Mexico, don't worry, don't work, just study." And she started to save me money to survive in my time in Mexico.
Wow.
Yeah, this is love.
Yeah, this is the, geez, like the young guys. Yeah, this is love. Like in China, we always say the old sentence, like behind all the successful men, they always have a woman love them. So yeah, congrats, man.
Yeah, no, here Sandra is everything for me. 17 years together. 17 years, man.
Wow.
It's crazy. We are neighborhoods in Colombia, side by side, home by home.
Okay.
Yeah, and we had a one life together.
Nice.
We shared one life, and she helped me a lot with this, and she support me in the hard times, because the one big problem here, a really good advice for the new artists, is try to have a lot of passions, and try to receive the frustration. The frustration in this area, in this career, is really easier. Yeah, and you understand, why it's hard. Not all the time the words is going to be fine, but not all the time they also could be bad.
Yeah.
So this is design, this is art, and just all the time try to keep going. Resist these words a lot.
Yeah, the passion, and you got a really, really, really lucky, the opportunity to getting, so experienced and approach so experienced people and learn from them, and then get there. Nowadays you're there, so you really you are my idol right now. I feel like, geez, the man like focus everything, even go to the gym. It's a reason he want to live longer, do more crazy concept art. So yeah, that is a good excuse. I know.
Yeah, no, we need to do it.
Yeah. We seems like have a little time left. Do you want to quickly? Yeah, we talk a little bit more about your life. I think that is definitely gonna drive most young people, new beginners, say how to start a better concept art career, so and keep going like you, be bigger and bigger.
It's all the time just study. Try to it's the same way you're going to the gym to make the workout. It's the same with the concept. Try to study day by day. Learn something, maybe a small lessons, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, but try to do it something like that. I do that each day. At the final of the day, I try to think, okay, today I learned that. I learned this,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So, feel passion. This is just about love. This is the reason for be artists is for love, for nothing more. Try to forget the rest, you know. If you are good in this, you're going to live well. You know, you're going to live really well. You're going to receive a good pay for your work, a good salary, but just focus on the love that you have for the art.
Yeah.
This is the most important, you know.
I think that is the best tip we received today. Yeah, from you.
Thank you, man.
All right. Thanks so much for share your. I think like I'm still remember the words you say, like after 300 years, you hoping the future people gonna refer to your references and do their work. I think damn, 300 years later, so maybe the AI already, have you tried the AI painting now?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Honestly, I don't like too much, honestly, because I prefer to do all the hard work.
Yeah, that thing is definitely fast. I think it's for each project a very very early exploration. That is maybe a not bad choice, right? So we can generate
Yeah.
random images, like not bad looking images, but as you see, like as a concept art, you have to make decisions on each single element to put in the image, right? I think AI
Yeah.
gonna need to learn that for a while. Yeah,
For
300.
me, it's hard to use it, honestly, because I tried it, but again, I need to feel that I have the control
Yeah.
over my work, over my piece.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Yeah, this is the reason for. I need to think in why the reason for I put one cloud. You know,
Yeah.
is for this reason. The artificial intelligence just do it. You know, I don't know. I don't like it.
Yeah. So yeah. See, who knows? Like in the future, maybe the AI, gonna just put our names on it, right? So work as Julian Calle, see, and do
Oh,
for after 10 something, right? See what gonna be
oh,
happen. So yeah,
oh, maybe.
it's crazy. Yeah, that one is
It's
crazy.
crazy. It's crazy.
All right, man.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this for today, and super super happy to talk to you and meet you again. Hopefully, sometimes we can reunify physically. I've never meet you
Yes.
again, right? So damn, we are in the same country, but never
Yeah.
meet after.
The problem is Canada is huge.
Yeah, jeez, yeah, okay,
Yeah, but welcome to Vancouver. Anytime you can,
sure,
you wanna come here, please let me know, and my house is completely open for you, man.
sure, definitely. Yeah, Vancouver. I really want to travel, and I think it's a very beautiful city to be there
Yes.
and meet friends down there. I'll let you know, okay, in the
Yeah.
near future, hopefully.
Okay. Cool. Thank you very much, Leo. It was awesome.
Yeah, no problem, my pleasure.
This one.
All right, take care, man. I'll
Okay.
talk to you soon, eh?
Okay.
Okay,
Bye
bye
bye.
bye, guys.
Bye bye.